poetic, the rhythm, spiritual, looking back at it, a lyrical exorcism. A half of the Afro-American dream to rap for, quarterback for a professional team. I'm still standing. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still standing. Still standing. I'm still here.
Welcome back. Hip-hop started out in the park. Now, a few decades later, it's a global phenomenon penetrating every facet of mainstream culture. But the question we ask now is, where's it going? Helping me to understand that question is Pharoahe Monch, hip-hop artist extraordinaire, Tricia Rose, professor at Brown University, and the author of The Hip-Hop Wars, and rapper activist Jasiri X. Thank you all for being here. Where do we go from here? Hip-hop's been around for multiple decades now. We see all sorts of great music out. We see fashion, we see language, but what does hip-hop do next?
I think that we really have more than one hip-hop, and right now I'd say the most profitable hip-hop is in trouble in terms of what it articulates, what it says. It doesn't need to be political explicitly, but the ideas about community and self-development and humanity that commercial mainstream hip-hop promotes, I think has some real challenges, and I think we need to be critical of that and still love hip-hop.
Right, I agree. I think we're at the best of times and the worst of times. On one hand, you have a hip-hop industry that's been completely corporatized and pushing some of the most soulless pop music that we've ever heard. On the other hand, you do have technology that's allowed artists like myself to kind of come with a grassroots perspective to be able to connect directly to the audience and get a positive message out.
One of the ways that I think hip-hop is taking a different turn, and we are taking up new options, is through the political work that many artists are doing. I mean, when Trayvon Martin was shot and killed, and even when Troy Davis was about to be executed, in both cases, Jasiri X, you made videos that got the world's attention. I mean, I'm looking at literally millions of hits for your Troy Davis video. I'm looking at millions of hits for your Trayvon Martin video. Talk about the response you got to that.
On Twitter, people were saying, I know you're going to speak to it. And it's like, because of the type of music I make, people look for me as, okay, something happens, we know at least Jasiri X is going to speak to those issues.
He had just came up from Miami to see his daddy, who knew such a great weekend, went in badly in a place where you move because it's safe for your family. But some people have an ingrown hate for your family.
This is what interestingly happened. People forced other hip-hop artists that are more known than me, hip-hop artists on the major label system, they really forced that. If the consumers demand change, if they demand of these artists that they step up and say more, they'll say more because at the end of the day, they want to please their consumers.
Does every hip-hop artist have to be like overtly political?
No, I think, some are better and more suited for that, and people definitely need to be in the right positions to speak. You want people speaking out politically about injustice who are able to do that fluently. So you don't want to put the wrong people in that position.
True.
But I think we have lost a long historical value of black music speaking not just to politics, but to the black condition, to what it means to be African American or part of the black diaspora. And that really has been reduced. The kind of bling bling, what I call the hip hop trinity, the gangster pimp ho trinity in hip hop, has produced the most money ever and continues to drive primary youth interest. And until we unlock that, I think it's going to be a hard way.
How do you deal with the artist who says, well, I would make other kinds of music, but the labels won't let me? There's music out there that I would love to make, but I don't have a space for it.
Labels are actually waiting for artists to develop their fan base, seeing it grow, and then saying, okay, well, we want to sign you. A bidding war develops, and then that artist can say, I'll decide to sign where I want to sign. So really the power is in our hands now.
You have to change your standards. If you think your goal is you want to be 100 trillionaire, then yeah, that's the route you have to go. But when you sell your soul, you can't get that back with money.
Now, one of the things we've been talking a lot about is the American context, but really hip-hop is a global phenomenon, and we hear hip-hop coming out from every sector of the world. I mean, Pharoahe, you just came back from tour. I mean, what are you seeing around the globe?
It's amazing, man. We just toured South Africa. We did a big festival over there, some side shows. We were in Cape Town, and just the amount of people that's into the music or knew my music specifically, word for word, is mind-blowing, so the same in Europe, the same in Asia, Australia. You see how receptive they are to, such artistic artists who are doing this on an underground level.
overseas, a lot of times the culture of hip hop is more respected. So people really embrace the culture. They really embrace, whether it's graffiti, whether it's DJing, breaking, MCing, the real culture and artistic value of it. And I think, and even the revolutionary aspects of hip hop. I mean, you had hip hop artists really responsible for creating the soundtrack that, set off the Arab Spring and some other movements around the world. And I think that's why you see those real revolutionary elements that hip hop originated with. You see that more expressed overseas. And then you see artists like myself, like Pharoahe Monch, being embraced when we go overseas.
Last question, where will hip hop be? I'm asking you to put your crystal ball on the table. Where will hip hop be in 10 years? What will it look like? What will it feel like?
There will be something after hip hop. I know it seems impossible,
right.
But gospel thought it was the end, soul thought it was the end, R&B thought, something is coming. And we want that next thing to be vibrant, exciting, intelligent, challenging, critical, and most importantly, that it loves the black community, that it doesn't think that the only way to get ahead is to get over on somebody's back, because you cannot survive that. And I think hip hop has shown that to us, but we have not listened carefully to what that outcome can be.
We're going to really see those revolutionary aspects of hip hop, the essence of hip hop, the origins of hip hop really coming back full circle.
It's definitely going towards the technology route. And I'm sitting there like, who knows, we saw the holograms with Tupac recently. Who knows what it's going to look like?
Creepy gram, yeah.
So I'm excited about where I'm going with it, and other artists could do the same thing.
That'll be the last word. Thank you so much. Pharoahe Monch's latest album is called War. Make sure you check it out. It's one of the best albums I've heard in many, many years. Also, Professor Tricia Rose, The Hip Hop Wars. Make sure you buy that book. It's an excellent analysis of hip hop culture. And of course, Jasiri X, rapper, activist. Please check him out. Your website,
JasiriX.com.
Thank you all for being here. Stay right there. We'll be back with more Our World with Black Enterprise. Up next, meet the woman who works out the big budget at the Harlem YMCA.
Our World with Black Enterprise is brought to you in part by State Farm. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com.